I've been wanting for a while to make a video on authenticity and sort of highlight the importance of it and the nuances of how sometimes it can be misunderstood and it can kind of go over people's heads. It went over my head for a long time, for years. So in this video, what I'm going to talk about is how emotions are a key to the operating system behind the physical reality, and how our emotions can evolve our species into a greater consciousness. So what I'll start by saying is that authenticity isn't what I thought it was, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are in the same boat. So I thought authenticity was just your ability to express yourself. What the nuance here is that, like for me, I was expressing myself based on what I thought of myself, and it turned out that what I thought about myself wasn't actually my true self, and because there's a deeper layer to it than just like a mental understanding. And so for the longest time, I was going about my day, and my primary source of understanding life was in my head. So I was good at logically understanding things. I considered myself to be intelligent, like I knew the science behind the operating principles of reality, or so I thought. And so, to save a bit of explaining here, I'm just going to say this. Authenticity is more than just understanding mentally who you are, because the mental understanding, unfortunately, it's riddled with belief systems and personalities and character traits, behavior patterns, all things that have been developed on top of your true self. And all these things, they serve a purpose, but the purpose is to help survive and navigate the world that we've been born into. And we have to take into consideration here that this world is just possibly, one of many. And the rules of this world, the rules of the society that we've built, are as they are. And we've grown into that system, and we've developed coping strategies and mechanisms and character traits based on that ground. And so that's the mental sort of expression, you could say. That's our mental authenticity. Or, depending on how truly and genuinely people are going about that, because a lot of people are playing with agendas and being manipulative, and obviously that's not authentic. But what the nuance here is that there's a deeper level of authenticity. There's a deeper level of authenticity, of embodiment, and that comes from emotions. Emotionally understanding how reality works, able to take in the emotional information around them and use it. It's potent. It's the difference between text and image. The mind understands this is like an analogy, but the mind can understand the words of reality. The emotions can understand the picture and the colors and the depth and the vibrancy. And that's what it is, when someone inquires within. So you can use the mind to do this. You can use the mind to travel into the emotions, direct your awareness into the emotions, and start to get to know yourself on an emotional level. And what happens is that you start to realize that there's synchronicities in life that have an emotional pattern to them. And when you start to notice the emotional pattern, because you would usually, like for me, I would have missed these because I wasn't paying attention to my emotions in the present moment. I was going about my day so busy trying to fit in and survive that I didn't really have time to pay attention to my emotions. So when we start to notice that certain events seemingly, like logically, seemingly unconnected, when we feel into the emotion, we realize that they were connected. And like I'm skipping a lot of information here, but basically this is the synchronicity. You notice that this event and this event and this event, all three were different, but they had the same feeling. And so you recognize the pattern, and then usually, I'll say like 9 times out of 10, there's a lesson there. And that, if you can understand and learn that lesson, it's like you can quantum leap yourself into a new state of being, which would have taken years and years and years through a logical understanding. And so if you can use the emotions to navigate life on an intuitive level, you can literally catapult yourself onto what you could describe as your highest potential. And it's in this highest potential of embodiment where we really truly experience happiness. Because how many people, this is so ripe on the planet right now, but there's so many people that look happy, but they're not happy. Happiness, for some reason or other, is actually quite rare. And so is authenticity. It's quite rare. And it's because of humanity's suppression of emotion, basically. Humanity is a ninja at suppressing emotions. And unfortunately for us, it's the emotions that hold like what you could call the nectar of life. It's the sweetness, it's what brings everything to life, it's the vibrancy. Emotions are our evolutionary advantage. It's, if humans could learn to embody themselves fully, our species would catapult, literally catapult, into a new age. Drastic change. And the way that happens is it's self-inquiry. We have to do the work ourselves in order to build this relationship with ourselves so that we can truly know ourselves. And it's when we truly know ourselves on an emotional level and a mental level and a physical level and a spiritual level, when we truly know ourselves, we can interact with the world from that space. And this is where it gets really, really juicy, because then we're connecting with people truly, and we're feeling real connection, real connection, not the materialistic, not the artificial or the superficial, real connection. And that's what a lot of people are missing. If you feel into yourself right now, feel into like this part of your chest here, right? You'll notice that there's like a homesick feeling of homesick, but not knowing where home is. It's that feeling that something's missing, and it's always been there. And we feel it in relationships, and in the relationships where we've been told that that's supposed to be it, but we still feel that feeling that something's missing. We feel homesick, but we don't know where home is. And that feeling is because we're not showing up authentically, emotionally, mentally, all that. In getting back in tune with our emotions, we give ourselves permission to be seen in the world for our true expression. And when we are seen in our true expression, then I'll just say this: a lot of the people on social media who post what their life looks like, but we kind of know that it's not what it looks like. And this isn't to shame anyone or say anyone's doing anything wrong, but it's just to highlight that we're really good at putting on a show that our life is all right, but really it's not. Everyone's kind of winging it. No one really knows what they're doing. Some people are better at it than others, and that's just the way it is. But we have a culture of pretending. We've got a culture of actors, but no one's really getting paid to act. It's like it's a choice, and where was I going with that? Oh, that's it. Yeah. So the true happiness that you can experience by being seen for who you are is above all else. How beautiful is this if you can show up in your full embodiment and give people the chance to love you for it. And then that love that you receive, that's you receiving that love, not your mask, not your personality, not your persona, not the image, but you're receiving that love, and that love is really received. When we're in the world and we're operating through, our beliefs and our programming and all that, when we're wearing a mask, it's the mask that's receiving the criticism, and that's usually why we wear it, because it's easy to receive criticism when you're not really being yourself, because it's kind of like you kind of like watching it taking the hit. But the thing is it's also the love's hitting it as well, and the love doesn't really get through to you. But when you take all that off and you're vulnerable enough to just express yourself for who you know yourself to be on an emotional and a mental level, then that's where life really starts to hold a vibrancy. So I hope that's maybe made some people a little bit curious to explore what emotions have to offer this life and this experience.